another day.
Nice fish right here.
Later, dude.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome everybody to another episode of Kayak Bass Live on a Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm actually on time this evening. I think this is probably the first time I actually was able to have the everything set up and ready to roll before 7 o'clock. So, pat myself on the back. Good job, man. We do have Jay waiting in standby here. He can see me, I can see him. I can hear him, but you can't hear him. So if he wants to talk smack to me, he can, because I probably look like a complete goofball having a one-way conversation here. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I got an exciting evening for you here. I'm excited. We have the champion of the Hobie Bass Open on here, and we will be talking with him here shortly. But reminder, got to go through my standard introduction and results and upcoming events and whatnot going across the nation before we bring him on. So we want to remind everybody, we upload and archive the show on YouTube. So if you miss an episode and you want to see the interview from, I don't know, just about anybody that's won here, any big event, go back, watch it on YouTube. You can actually watch it on Facebook as well, but YouTube is another option as well. Probably a lot faster to find who you're looking for. But anyways, go back and give us a subscribe button on YouTube. We're also on Instagram. Give us a follow on there for opportunity to have your picture shared here on Kayak Bass Live. Obviously, David is not here. David is usually the guy who does that. He brings it up. So I am a one-man show, so tonight we will not bring up a Instagram photo, but we will in the future. And now I just realized I forgot to get the drawing for last week's show, but we'll do that next week, so we'll do double draws next week when David is on. So if you want to be featured here on the show, use the hashtag Kayak Bass Live and follow us on Instagram. And that's how you do that. All right, so get signed up. June No Limit Online Photo Contest for Yakka Bass. All fish over 12 inches count. This runs June 1st to the 30th. It's $25 enter. I don't know how many anglers have signed up since then. I believe Ernie actually did send me a text message. Let me see what he said here. I apologize. Look like a dope here. Oh, getting messages here. Ernie says 26 anglers signed up, and the big fish is 22 and 3/4 inches. I do have that part written down. Current leader is Jason Cullen with 808 inches and a quarter. 808 and a quarter inches for 57 fish. Like I said, all 12-inch fish count. Dwayne Wallen did Yakka Bass a huge favor, and he actually added that feature, like a MLF style. So any fish you catch actually counts. So if you're interested in signing up for that and you're in the Western States, you can go ahead and do that. But that's also a feature for you guys who are watching across the nation and aren't in the Western States, and you want to have a MLF-style month-long tournament. That is an option for you through Tourney X. What else we got here? Sign-ups in day after tomorrow. Today is the 13th. Sign-ups in on the 15th for those who are here in California and on the Western States. So go ahead and get signed up. Ernie did remind me that the seven bass stud is available for signups already. The way that works is you basically you're on the water. You have 12 hours to actually select the fish to be included in your 7-fish limit, and you are limited to 7 fish. Once that fish is in your limit, you can no longer cull. It's a no cull tournament. It's your best 7 fish that you choose. 12 hours to choose that fish after you've already taken the photo, and it's pretty interesting. It's a cool opportunity for those who don't get too good out as much as some of the other guys do, and so have a shot to potentially win that event. Because some guys get out there more than others. So, anyways, we're also want to remind everybody, Big Old Pig year-long big fish photo contest for the Western states through Yak and Bass. It's $15 to enter, and the deadline it ends on December 15th. Man, I don't know what, I'm just like all scatterbrained right now. What else? Oh, Kelsey Bass Ranch Kayak Invitational. The anglers have been selected. It's going to be a fun event. Be sure to tune in the day of the event, which is June. So it's a week from Saturday. I don't know the exact date. The 24th, I believe, is what it is. Just have it written down, but I failed to do so. So be sure to tune in the day of the event for on the water updates and pictures via Motherlode Kayak Angler, as well as here Kayak Bass Live social media pages. Okay, upcoming events across the nation this week. We got the KBF Trail event at CJ Strike, River Bassin Regional, Parkersfield in West Virginia. Parkersburg, West Virginia, I'm sorry. Kayak Anglers Central PA on the Susquehanna River, and the Yakabas NorCal Paradise Point Delta Tournament, which I will be fishing this Saturday. Next week, we got the KBF Trail events on the Chattahoochee River, the Occoquan Reservoir. I apologize if I butchered that. And the Wilson Reservoir. Also, the Cats Border City Classic at Lake Sinclair. Bluegrass Kayak Anglers Cedar Creek Lake. Kayak Anglers Eastern PA at Marsh Creek State Park. MSK at Mountain State Kayak Anglers Capital City Classic River Bassin Qualifier as well. And the River Bassin Qualifier Tennessee Kayak Angler Tournament Trail Combo event looks like. Have a little... So those of you who are watching from Mountain State Kayak Anglers and across the nation, I have a little announcement that I'll talk about here in a minute. Some sad news for those who weren't aware, but I'll go ahead and talk about that here a little later. Okay, so some results across the nation. Caddo Lake had an event, and third place went to Dave Newman with 68 1/4 inches. Second place went to Christopher England, 69 1/4, and Steve Lewis captured the W with 73 1/4 inches. And a big fish went to Robert Moore with 20 1/4 inch fish. Pymatuning Reservoir, I believe. Hope that's how I say it. Did I say that right, Jay? Do you know? I don't know. Anyways, third place went to Jimmy Kemp, 66 3/4 inches. Second place, Michael Wegerzenek. Sorry, bro, but you got a really hard last name to say. 69 3/4 inches. And first place went to Greg Harper with 74 1/4 with a big fish of 17 inches. Buckeye Kayak Fishing Trail Predators on Portage Lakes. Third place, Jeff Gerdenman, 44 1/2. Eric Manco, 44 1/2. And Aaron Neff, 45 inches for the W. Big fish went to Dave Martin with a 19 1/4 inch fish. Natural State Kayak Anglers River Road Runner. That was the name of the event. Third place, Jonathan Brewer, 76 1/4. Dwayne Beatty, 78 3/4. And first place, Jason Kinsey, 88 1/2 inches. Big fish went to John Evans with a 20 1/4 inch fish. Also, there's a great big event put on by Cats, which is normal. Cats puts on huge events. And I believe they had like 151 anglers for that event. Fifth place went to Brent Thyman. I hope I said that right. 77 3/4 inches. Fourth place, Michael Hansen, 88 1/4 inches. Third place, Matt Makosia. Hope I said that right. 81 1/2. Second, Bobby LaBeouf, 82 1/4. And Ryan Herzog, 96 inches, captured the W. And I'm going to give a big shout out to Guillermo Gonzalez for capturing the Cats Texas Angler of the Year title. We had him on earlier, and he was a good dude. Gave us a lot of info, and I've been utilizing some of the tips he was given on the Carolina rig here personally. So, big shout out to Guillermo Gonzalez. All right, so a reminder to everybody, we've got to plug our giveaway. Trapper Tackle is a sponsor of the show, and every week they give away hooks. And in order to win those hooks, we do a drawing at the end of the show for the previous week. Like I said, this show, the one we do this week, we're actually going to have to do double next week because I forgot to set that up. But so in order to win Trapper hooks, share this stream. Let everybody know that you are watching, and use the hashtag Rig Lock It, Land It whenever. And then at the end of the show next week, we'll pick the winner for tonight's sharing. And, well, not just tonight. If you watch this live or watch this after the fact and you share it, it still counts. So if you share it, period, you are entered for the drawing next week. All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and play our commercial for Trapper Tackle, and then we will bring on our special guest of the evening, Mr. Jay Wallen. So stay tuned. All right, and we are back with our special guest of the evening, Mr. Jay Wallen. How you doing, Jay?
Hey, what's up, Wes? How you doing? I'm doing pretty good.
All right, man. I'm doing fantastic. I'm glad you are on. I'm actually just realized that my video is showing on the corner over here, so I'm going to kill my video. You should be able to hear me still. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
And that way I don't see my ugly face twice. Maybe I should go to radio. Do I have a face for radio? I don't know. Anyways, so I did mention that I had an announcement. I hate to interrupt this. I guess I probably could have done it before, but there's an announcement from Mountain State Kayak Anglers. They asked me to mention this on the stream, so I said I would go ahead and do so. 2 weeks ago, MSKA, Mountain State Kayak Anglers, lost one of its members, Aaron Crook. He was killed in the line of duty while serving in Bluefield, West Virginia Police Department. MSKA is holding a raffle fundraiser where they will donate the proceeds to a trust fund that has been set up for Aaron's 2 children. The tickets are $25 each. They have a goal of 1,000 tickets or $25,000. Raffle will be held on June 26th, and the prizes will be shipped if the winners are unable to pick them up. So for more info, go ahead and head over to Mountain State Kayak Anglers Facebook page for a link to purchase tickets and all the info. So it's kind of a bummer to share that news, but it is what it is, and our thoughts are with Aaron Crook and all the guys over there at MSKA, and we hope that you guys raise the funds that you are looking to do so. So let's go ahead and move on to a happier note, a happier subject, and let's talk to Mr. Jay Wallen. Let me go ahead and go over some of these results here, the top 5. So there were 115 anglers that were at the, dropped my paper. 115 anglers at the Hobie Bass Open, and the top 5 were as follows. We had Ron Champion in 5th, no surprise, 106 inches and 106 3/4 inches. 4th place went to Matthew Scotch, 108 1/4 inches, and then Drew Russell, 112 1/4 inches, and then Joshua Stewart with 114 1/4 inches, and the man with us this evening, Jay Wallen, with 115 1/2 inches. Congratulations, Jay.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's pretty special.
Yeah, that's quite the field to. That field was pretty stacked, dude. You had quite a.
No doubt.
You had a lot of. Yeah.
I had my work cut out for me for sure. I mean, you got names like Mr. Champion and Scotch and Tyson Peterson. A lot of good sticks in there. That's what makes it so special, is that you're not just beating anybody when you win that tournament.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you guys traveling from all over to enter that tournament. It's almost like, I mean, I don't want to necessarily say this, but it's almost like a second KBF national championship.
Yeah, I mean, it really does carry that level of prestige. I mean, people want to come fish this event. It's such a well-run event. Hobie's got an entire team of professionals there, just really putting on a great event, and of course the support that they get from the Marshall County Tourism and Calvert City and Kentucky Dam Village. It's pretty incredible. It's definitely a destination tournament.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I'd like to put on my, I don't want to say bucket list. I'm still kind of young.
Right.
But, it's definitely one of those events that I'd like to be fishing here in the next few years, if at all possible.
It's definitely one of the top tier events. It's my favorite one all year. I love that tournament.
Yeah, and it's on Kentucky, Maybe we
I mean, there is that. It is on one of the best bass fisheries in the country, in the entire planet. So there is that.
Yeah, we're really hoping that we can get our Shasta Bass Kayak Classic that was ran here in March up to a similar level of prestige.
Yeah,
I definitely know there's a lot of.
California's got some incredible fisheries. That's definitely something that I would love to do at some point in my lifetime, is get out there and bass fish for those California bass. So yeah, that would be pretty awesome if they could make that happen.
Yeah, granted, Shasta is not really known for those big fish, but is definitely known for some solid sized spots. I mean,
yeah, that's I've caught big smallmouth, I've caught big largemouth, but I've never really caught what I would consider a big spot.
Okay, so now what would you? Okay, now that we kind of went into this, what would you consider a big spot then?
For me, a big spot to me would be anything over 5 pounds. That'd probably be a big spot for me.
Yeah, that's nothing to shake and stick at. Yeah.
We got Lake Cumberland and Dale Hollow and Green River Lake, and they've got some big spots. I've just never been fortunate enough to catch one.
Those big spots, man. They pull. They're a lot of fun. Yeah. My personal best, I believe, is right around 5.5 or so, maybe just under that. But that's come out here, man. We'll get you hooked up. Come out here the right time. We can hit Bullards and we can hit Berryessa. There's a lot of big spot factories out here.
My buddy Jason Yasnitsky's from out there right around Bullard's Bar, and he tells me about it all the time. He tells me I got to get out there. So maybe one of these days we'll make it happen.
Yeah, put it on that list, man. But anyway, so enough talking about the spots, man. Let's talk about you, and let's talk about this win. So, Mr. J, man, what do you do for a living? What is your job?
So I'm a geologist, and I work for the state of Kentucky, and I assess coal reserves. So our state has an abundance of natural resources, the majority of which is coal, and I'm responsible for managing the branch that assesses all of the coal reserves in our state. So that's pretty much what I do.
Right on. It obviously affords you, to support your habit and the time off to go do so.
Yeah, that's a big perk of my job, is that they do provide ample opportunities for me to take off work. So I work a kind of a flex schedule. I'm actually off on every Friday, so I spend Fridays just about every single Friday fishing somewhere. So it's a pretty nice little setup.
Right on. That's largely why I asked. So if you tune in, I always ask what everybody does for a living. It's largely because there may be guys who are young and still wanting, who are haven't necessarily chosen a career, or maybe those guys who maybe are interested in changing their careers. Asking these top anglers what they do for a living, gives some of us ideas that maybe something we can do ourselves to potentially become a top tier angler like Mr. J. Wallen here. With that, man. So how did you actually get started fishing?
I grew up fishing. Man, I was potty trained on a boat, and that's no lie. That's true. So my dad's mom and dad were fishermen, My mom's mom and dad were fishermen. So, when my parents were dating, Dad took Mom fishing. And then when, it was me and my sisters and we were all kids, that's just what we did. We went crappie fishing. Dad would take me bass fishing. And it's just something I grew up doing, and I was fortunate enough to have a dad that loved to take me fishing with him. And we would go, we'd go to Lake Erie, we'd go to Florida, we'd go to Tennessee. He just took me traveling all over the place. So growing up, I got to fish a lot of diverse fisheries, like from Florida to Lake Erie. It's very, very different. And I got to experience all of that at a very young age. So I was definitely blessed and very fortunate to be able to do that. And that's just spilled over, as I continued fishing and getting older, just having that base down of all those experiences really propelled me to, learning all I can. And really technology these days helps people learn more and more about bass fishing than you could have, 15, 20 years ago. So we live in a good time for knowledge and information when it comes to bass fishing. So all of that together, that's kind of how I'm where I am. I mean, that's how I got started, and it's just something that's always been a part of me. And I will continue fishing until I have to wheel myself out in a wheelchair one day to do it. I'll continue to do it.
You're going to be that guy in the meme with the walker, huh, in the middle of the river.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's me. Yeah. My mom told me, I should look into maybe carrying a little bit more life insurance because I live a very active lifestyle. And I just told her, I said, you know what? I said, if something happens to me someday and something happens while I'm fishing, just know that there was no other place I'd rather be when I went out. So that's just the way it is.
Just don't tell your girlfriend that.
Yeah. Yeah. She's watching right now, and tell her
you love her. Say, hopefully she's with you, right? Yeah. Hopefully you're with me.
Yeah. She supports my fishing habits, so I got to give her a little bit of credit on that. She doesn't complain too much. She lets me do my thing.
Right on. All right, man. So if that's how you got into fishing, how did you get specifically into kayak fishing?
Yeah, so I used to have it used to be a Ranger bass boat sitting here behind me, and not this Hobie. I'll tell you where it started. It started when a group of friends invited me to go to the New River in Virginia. And I'd never really been fishing on a river. It's just not something I did. I always grew up fishing out of a bass boat on a lake. And everybody had kayaks, except me. I didn't have a kayak. So I wade fished, and everybody was in their kayaks, making long floats down the river and doing all this stuff and having a ball. And I thought, this place is a blast. I want to come back. I want to get a kayak. And so I did. I went and got a kayak and started fishing out of it. And to tell you the truth, the first little bit I went out in it, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I felt like I was trying to control the boat more than I was trying to fish. And I had a paddle kayak. I'm not going to say the brand, but it wasn't a Hobie. And it was a paddle kayak. And, I just did not enjoy it. Yeah, right. I just didn't enjoy it. And then I eventually got a Hobie, and because I thought that the hands-free part of it would make me feel better about going fishing and concentrating on fishing and not necessarily paddling my boat around. So I got a Hobie and fell in love. And then it didn't take but a year, and I walked into the garage one day and realized I haven't had my bass boat out in like 13 months. And so I got rid of it. I sold it. I got rid of my bass boat, and then I upgraded I went from an Outback to a Pro Angler 14, and I have not looked back. I fish more. I get on more diverse bodies of water. And I really just enjoy fishing more than when I was fishing out of a bass boat. There's something intimate about being in a kayak and being close to the water and just and really the fishing part of it, just working an area more than you would if you were in a bass boat. Just all the aspects of it, I truly enjoy it more than when I fished out of a bass boat.
I feel the same way, man. I'm right here to talk about me though. Very very similar experience with myself. But anyways, so what clubs and circuits do you fish, man?
Yeah, so first off, I got started competitive kayak fishing with, we're now the Bluegrass Kayak Anglers. It's our local club here in Kentucky. We were the first, and we are the largest kayak bass fishing club in Kentucky. You can find us on Facebook, Bluegrass Kayak Anglers, and we're also at bluegrasskayakanglers.com. So get on there, check us out. We run a like a 7-tournament series all season, and we're growing every year, and we've really put on some good events. We've got great sponsor support, and we're pretty proud of our club here. So I fished that, and then of course I fished KBF, kayak bass fishing. I was their Angler of the Year last year, so that's those are really the two main circuits. Obviously I always fish the Hobie Bass Open, and then when I can, I try to get down to the Tournament of Champions when I qualify for the Tournament of Champions down at Lake Fork in Texas. So other than that, that's pretty much it. I'll pick up an open tournament if there's something that interests me that I want to go fish. But really, I pretty much do our local Bluegrass Kayak Anglers and KBF stuff. So
right on. Yeah, for those you're watching and you weren't aware, Jay Wallen is currently the reigning angler of the year for KBF. He's just waiting for the end of the season where he either gets to be Mr. Angler of the Year again or he gets dethroned. So we're rooting for you, as is except for maybe the guys. Everybody's rooting for you except for the guys who are trying to dethrone you.
That's right.
Which is pretty.
That's right. You got Jamie Dennison out there. You got Ricky Rowland out there. There's a couple guys that aren't rooting for me, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't be rooting for you either.
Yeah, we've got a few guys out here that are making a run for it, but our opportunities aren't necessarily as great as yours. But
oh yeah, yep.
Yeah. So with that, man, I realize you pretty much just kind of already answered it, but what is that beast behind you? What is the kayak you're fishing out of now?
That's the Hobie Pro Angler 14. That is, most people know that I'm not much of a river or flows fisherman. I'm just not a fan. I like the big water. Give me Lake St. Clair, give me Lake Fork, give me Kentucky Lake. When you're fishing that big water, there's nothing better than that rig right there. That PA 14's it. That thing's a Cadillac. I've been in some gnarly stuff in that thing, and it's got me through every time. So I've got a lot of confidence in that boat right there.
All right. So if you don't mind me asking, can you put in perspective how big of a gentleman are you? How tall are you?
I'm a short dude. I'm 5'7", 5'8" on a good day. So I'm a pretty short guy, but I'm kind of heavy. I've been losing some weight though, but I'm under 215. I'll say that. And this thing handles it. I mean, it handles a lot of weight. It's got a 600-pound weight capacity. So although I may be pushing that with all my tackle and rods and all the crap that I bring out there with me, but it handles it. It handles it.
Is that your only rig you have currently?
Yep, that's it. That's all I use. I tell you though, I've been interested in the Hobie makes that inflatable, the I-11S, and that thing is awesome. You can pack it up, you can fly with it, you can travel with it, and it's an inflatable. I don't even know how to explain it. You just have to get on Hobie's website and check that thing out. That I-11S is legit, and if I had another boat, I'd probably like to have one of those.
Right on. That's the first time I really heard about that one.
Yeah, it's pretty legit. It's a thick inflatable material, And it's got a Mirage drive. It's got a seat. It's almost like a stand-up paddleboard and a kayak, inflatable kayak merged together. It's an awesome little boat. It's perfect for flowing bodies of water, rivers, streams. It's a little bit more manageable than the PA-14 on that kind of water. But if I had another rig, that's probably what I'd get.
I do see a big check back there. If you wanted one, I bet you could get one.
Oh, man. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I could probably sell that.
Nah, no hurry. You got. There's more rods and reels and tackle to buy first, right?
Yeah, I mean that never. So rods and reels and tackle, that's all disposable. They're like tires and brakes. You just go through them. It's just the way it is.
Right. Well, so if you got six horizontal rod holders, so if you buy, you have to buy at least 6 of every model of the particular brand or company of rods you like. So you still got a ways to go, right?
Yeah, that will get expensive pretty quick.
Hey, man.
G. Loomis rods aren't known for being cheap.
Yeah. Well, after this win, man, maybe you become a staffer. You never know.
Hey, I like the sound of that. Can you make that happen for me, Wes?
I might. I do know a sales rep. I do work at a tackle store.
All right. We'll talk later.
I'll give him a nice little nudge. Granted, he's from California, but whatever. Yeah. I have very little pull with him. I've only met him twice, and I did spend one day with him when we had our Shimano days, but it was still pretty cool.
So good working for me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I would just be like, hey, are you interested in maybe picking up a kayak angler out in Kentucky?
There you go.
Anyways, so with that, let's go and talk about your win. We've already talked about Kentucky Lake previously, but let's go ahead and do it again anyways, because I like to hear about it, and not necessarily everybody is aware of where Kentucky Lake is and all that jazz. So where is Kentucky Lake?
So Kentucky Lake is in the far western part of Kentucky, and it's also it stretches all the way down through Tennessee and almost into Alabama. Really, it stretches the whole width of Tennessee, but it's in the far western part of both states. And the lake is almost 200 miles long, and there's parts of it that are probably close to 2 miles wide. So it is an absolute massive beast of a body of water.
Holy cow. I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's, 2 miles. They call it the South's Great Lake.
Oh.
And it's huge. It really is.
Wow. I've always figured it was pretty big, but when you said 2 miles wide, that's...
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, usually when you launch your kayak, you launch on either one side of the lake or the other, and you're pretty much not going to go to the other side of the lake. It's just, you can. I mean, there's days where you can, but if that wind picks up from the north or the south, you can get in some real trouble out there real quick. And that's not just in a kayak, that's in any boat. That lake gets pretty gnarly at times. So it's a massive lake. It's Kentucky Lake, but it's the Tennessee River. And that Tennessee River chain, it's the last lake in the chain before the Tennessee River dumps into the Ohio. And in my opinion, I fished quite a bit on the Tennessee River and the different lakes, and in my opinion, it does not get better in that river system than Kentucky Lake. It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, there's definitely a reason why all the big events seem to keep going there. Most definitely.
Yeah, it somehow it actually handles the pressure. I don't know how, but it still produces. There is every weekend between mid-March and late June. There are massive tournaments out there, and these spots get absolutely pounded, and yet they still produce 20-plus pound sacks all over the lake. I mean, it's nuts. I've never really, the only thing that I can compare to Kentucky Lake is probably Lake St. Clair, and they're just really two different bodies of water. But as far as quality of fishery, those two right there, they're on their own level. They're amazing.
Yeah, St. Clair's that's one of the Great Lakes, isn't it?
Well, it is and it isn't. It's part of the Great Lakes system. It's in between Lake Huron and Lake Erie. It's all connected. I don't know that it's considered a Great Lake, but it is part of the system. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And it's a smallmouth factory too, isn't it?
You daggone right. It's unbelievable.
God dang, man. We got smallies out here, and every now and again, one of our lakes will pop up and they'll just start producing them, but not consistently enough.
Back in 2011, I got my personal best smallmouth there. I got a replica of it in the wall. It was 7 pounds 4 ounces. It was 22 1/4 inches, and it was an absolute tank.
Yeah, my personal best smallie is only I think it's 4. Right,
Yeah.
4. And I actually didn't even catch it in California. I caught it up in Oregon when I was up there with some family.
Yeah.
But anyways, hold on, pencils on this side. All right, so we got that. Okay, so what kind of fishery would you consider Kentucky? Is it like a shallow, a deep reservoir?
It's a riverine system. It's got plenty of deep water. You get out in that main river channel, and it's 50, 60 feet deep. But then as you come up out of that river channel, it's really just flooded river bottom, and there's humps and really the ledges that you hear everybody talk about. All those really are little. They're just little. They're like the old riverbank from when that was just a river and not a lake. So that's really all those ledges are. And there's just humps and rock outcrops and all sorts of stuff in that river bottom. And then when they dammed the river up, it just it made shallow flats and little humps and depressions. So Kentucky Lake's really diverse. You've got a lot of everything. You can fish rocky bluff, deep water stuff, or they've got shallow lily pads. So it's a crazy place. It really is. There's a lot of different styles of fishing that you can do and catch them down at Kentucky Lake. You can catch them doing just about anything.
Well, actually, that's pretty insightful, man. I really appreciate that little tip of info. Basically saying what the ledges are. I never would have thought that it was basically where the river basically carved its way into it before it was flooded.
Right, exactly.
That makes a lot of sense, and it makes it not. It doesn't make it feel as intimidating to me.
Yeah. I mean, that's all you're really doing is you're just fishing a flooded river that's spilled its banks and gone out into the floodplain. That's really all you're doing.
Yeah. I bet you there's some of your competitors out there that wish you probably wouldn't have said that.
It's okay. It's all right.
Well, because somebody like me, you say, "Oh, they're out there fishing ledges," and to me, I'm like, ledges, like what the hell is that? I mean, I understand what a ledge is in a lake, but when you describe it like that, it makes it less daunting.
Yeah, you just that's the thing about Kentucky Lake is you hear people talk about ledges. Well, there's ledges all over the lake. I mean, they start from the dam and they go all the way up the river. So, don't get too caught up on, I got to find ledges, the right ledge and all this stuff. Just look at a map and look for those, look for those drops and channels where they come around shallow humps, and just get out there and go look at them, go fish them. There's no amount of map review and prep work and research. There's not enough of it that can replace getting on the water and running that Lowrance unit up and down those ledges and fishing. There's nothing that can replace that. But and that's how you learn. That's how you get comfortable. I was talking to Quentin Eccles earlier at the Hobie Bass Open. That's what I was telling him. There's nothing that can really replace getting out there. And once you start getting bites, everything kind of starts clicking. You start getting that feel. You know what you're looking for. You know what you're feeling for. And then once you find an area that produces, all you have to do is go to your map and look for places that are just like that. That's all you have to do. It's I think a lot of people make it too complicated.
So what you're saying is Kentucky Lake's a pretty good place to pattern fish. You can
Absolutely.
if you can get on it, you can pattern it real quick. It would
Yeah.
You can duplicate it all across. Yeah, that's
Yeah. It's an absolute fish factory. Unlike other lakes that I fished, here and there, when you go fishing on Kentucky Lake and you start catching fish, they're exactly where they're supposed to be. They're like if you're flipping bushes, if it's that time of year, you start catching a few fish and they're right where they're supposed to be. I mean, it's all textbook kind of stuff, and it's most places aren't like that. Kentucky Lake's special. It really is.
There's definitely nothing like that where you're like calling your shots. You're like, there's gonna be a fish right there.
Yeah.
Doink.
Yeah, you can get to that on Kentucky Lake if you get those things keyed in and you figure out exactly the way they want it, and you can absolutely call your shots out there sometimes.
Right on, man. Now you definitely made me want to come out there.
All right, Hobie Bass Open will be there again next year, next June. Come on out.
Yeah,
it'll
it'll
be bigger.
Yeah, and the NC too. Oh man.
That's right.
Oh,
yep,
man.
KBF loves Kentucky Lake too, so it's you got plenty of opportunities to get out there.
I'm working on it this weekend, man. One step closer to qualifying. All right, man. This is really informative, man. I really appreciate you coming on here. I hope our viewers are enjoying listening too, man.
That's I enjoy. I don't like giving my spots away or too many secrets, but I enjoy helping people learn. How to go out here and catch these bass. I mean, it's. I don't mind
give
that.
the juice. Yeah, don't
Right?
give it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't mind helping people learn some things either, though.
Yeah, but that also when people catch up to your level, it helps drive you to get to the next level.
That's right, man. It just pushes you, makes you better. That's right.
Right on. All right. So, what kind of structure would you say Kentucky Lake has? Granted, you pretty much have already told us it has practically everything, but what would you say is maybe the main structure?
So there's a lot of rock. That's a lot of the stuff that I fish on Kentucky Lake is rock. Especially or even early in the year, I like to fish rock. But there is some grass in Kentucky Lake. There's a little bit of grass. But let me show you. It's not necessarily structure, but it's more of cover. But let me show you. So I actually hung into this. I hope you guys can see this. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Those are mussels.
That's a big old mussel shell.
Yeah. So these are mussel shells that grow on the ledges on Kentucky Lake. And basically what they do is they're just filter feeders. They're just little organisms that filter feed. And they grow on hard rock bottoms that are typically facing into the current. Because on Kentucky Lake, there's a lot of current that comes ripping through there. And these mussels, there'll be algae that grows on those mussels. And that's what the shad and gizzard shad and threadfin shad and all the bait fish, they like to eat that kind of stuff. They love to eat the algae and the plankton that are associated with these mussels. And so if you get those shad up there on those ledges eating plankton and algae, the bass are going to be right there. And so those mussel beds are a prime spot, especially this time of year, to go fish. And crawdads root around in that stuff. Everything roots around in it. It's like a reef out in the ocean. Those reefs are teeming with life, and that's what these ledges are doing. And they've got mussel shells, and you can find entire beds of them. And you need to fish those. You need to fish those, without a doubt.
Right on. So it's more than just the ledges; it's the ledges with the mussels on them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. You find a ledge. That's one thing. You find a ledge with current. You find a ledge with mussel beds on it. You're getting all the ingredients for something special.
Right on. All right. So with that, what kind of water temps you guys have out there for the open?
Yeah. So it's getting hot. Water temp was right around 80 on day one, and I think I may have seen it get up to 82 on day two. So, and that's what's pushing those bass out to the ledges. The shallow water's heating up. and they're going to start pulling back to the main lake where the cooler water is, and that's happening every single day. Like today, it was hot as hell today. It was probably close to 90 degrees today. So the lakes are continuing to heat up, and that's just going to push more and more bass into the deeper water out on the main lake. So that's pretty much what's going on right now.
Right on. All right. So my next question is, what kind of structure or water were you looking or keying on? So my guess was ledges with current and mussels.
That's it, man. That's it.
Right on. So
that's all you need. And bass. I mean, let me tell you something. My Lowrance TI7 over there got a workout. I mean, I had that thing running the whole time. Spent a lot of time in practice. I know you hear a lot of these guys say it in their bass boats, but I really did. You spend a lot of time using that side scan. I can't tell you how much the side scan helps. You get on the ledge, you look on your map, and you see the ledge, and you parallel it and side scan it, and just pedal all the way down it. And really, I don't like to fish Kentucky. These ledges on Kentucky Lake. I don't like to fish them unless I see fish on them. So if I don't see fish on these ledges, I'm not fishing them. You just move on until you find them. Because when you find them, you know it. I mean, you'll just know it when you see it. And so I don't really stop and fish until I see it. So it's not just the ledges, it's not just the shell beds. You got to have all that, but then you want to make sure you're seeing those bass on the ledge and on your unit, on your Lowrance unit.
All right. So here's a good question. I mean, well, I don't know if it's a good question, but here's a question I've got for you. Considering you just mentioned your Lowrance, what unit are you using?
Yeah, I'm using the Lowrance Elite 7 Ti.
Right on.
The Navionics mapping chip on that.
Seeing how you're using the 7, have you ever? I mean, gotta ask. We got a lot of guys out here that want to move up to 9-inch screens. Do you consider it, or is a 7 sufficient for you?
Yeah, so I feel like the 7's pretty sufficient. But I will say this: the bigger the screen, the easier you're going to be able to see the bass, the structure, and everything that you're looking for. A 9-inch screen on the PA-14 is a little big, in my opinion, but I think the 7's perfect for it. But like I said, the bigger the screen, the better you're going to be able to see the fish, the bait, and everything that you're looking for. So, as a rule of thumb, what most of a lot of the pros say is buy the biggest screen that you can justify and that you can afford. So I don't know if I subscribe to that or not. 9-inch screen is awesome. A 12-inch screen is awesome. But at some point, where do you draw the line? It's some of that stuff is kind of goofy, if you want me to be honest. For me personally, I feel very comfortable with my 7 unit. I don't feel the need for a 9-inch unit. But, who knows? Maybe one day I'll run one. You never know.
Don't lie, Jay. You want to get yourself a 16-inch screen. Run 4 7-inch. It's like running 4 7s on a 16-inch screen. Wouldn't that be cool?
I'd be able to find those bass like you wouldn't believe. It'd be crazy. They'd jump out of the screen and run where they are.
You'd be able to see the scales on the fish on your fish finder. 16.
Oh yeah. Those for sure.
That's funny. All right. So next question. So we know what you're pretty much looking for. Mm-hmm. What lures and techniques were producing for you? How'd you catch them?
Right. So, in practice, I really did not have a very good practice at the Hobie Bass Open. I got down there, I fished one of my favorite little spots, and, I did okay. I caught a fish here, caught a fish there. I did lose a really big one, so I knew there were some big fish around, but I just wasn't catching them very well. But, man, I threw swim baits, I threw big spoons, crankbaits, you name it, man. I threw the daggone tackle box at them. and really didn't do very good. And then I finally decided, you know what, you just need to. My strength is fishing deep and fishing slow, and so I decided to just do that. And I started putting all the moving baits away, and I picked up a jig, which is it's probably my favorite thing to fish, and I started catching. And so I put everything else away. I went with the jig, and I'll show you. Nothing special. This one, I beat the paint off of it. But it's just a...
Looks like brown and maybe a green pumpkin.
Yeah, it's a Tennessee crawl. It's got a little orange in it, a little green pumpkin Zoom twin tail Fat Albert. I dipped the tail in just a little bit of chartreuse. And that's a 3/4 ounce jig. So I drag that around the ledges. And what happens a lot of times, you fish that jig on these ledges. You catch a few fish. You may catch 2 or 3. You may catch 5 or 6. And then what ends up happening is the bite shuts off. They've seen it enough times. You've caught some of the active fish. And then what I like to do is when I feel like the bite's kind of slowing down, things have kind of, I haven't had a bite in 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour, sometimes 2 hours. I'll follow it up with the big Zoom old monster, the 12-inch worm.
Hoo-wee. Black?
It's plum.
Plum. Yeah, I can see a little purple hue in there a little bit.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll rig that on a 6/0 trocar hook with the Picasso tungsten. Man, that tungsten is really, really important. I remember when tungsten first came out, and I thought, man, that's a joke. Why would I? It's just weight. It's just a weight. What difference does it make? But let me tell you something. That tungsten's denser, and it transfers vibration through your line so much better than lead, and it makes all the difference in the world. And Picasso makes some incredible tungsten and other components, and I really like their the new gunmetal tungsten they've come out with. It doesn't chip. It's not painted. And you can beat it to death, and it'll still keep its color. So that's pretty much it, man. I caught all my fish on day 1 on either this worm or that jig, and then on day 2, I couldn't get them to touch the worm. I don't know what it was, but they didn't want it, and so I put it up and just stuck with the jig all day long. And they hit it good in the morning, and then I went through about a 3-hour lull. I didn't get a bite. And then finally in the afternoon, it picked back up again. But everything on day 2 came on the jig.
Right on. So for all of you watching who hope you're paying attention, because he just told you, throw a jig. And I told that people a lot of times.
Yeah.
You may not necessarily get all the bites in the world, but when you get a bite, it's going to be a good one.
That's right. The last 2 years that I got 3rd place in this tournament, I'm sitting here trying to think. All of my fish have either come on a football jig, or last year I caught a bunch of fish on the Excite Baits Maximus worm on a shaky head, on a big Magnum shaky head. So if you're going to Kentucky Lake in the summertime, I feel like I need about 2 rods. I need a worm and I need a jig. So that's how I approach it.
Right on. We're gonna have to get you set up with some Trapper 6/0 hooks, man. I think the biggest we have is a 5/0 in the Trapper. We have to get you some Trapper hooks, man. Let you try them on that big that old monster. See how you like them.
We'll go out there and stick you with it.
Yeah, man. I swear, and this is not me just selling. They get hooked. They literally don't come off, and you have to use pliers to get them out because that hook doesn't turn. The hook doesn't just slide out on a traditional round bend. Right. That other 90 degree keeps it locked in.
Let's check those out.
They're worth it, dude.
Yeah.
And those of you who aren't using them, and your competitors are, well, your competitors thank you because you're giving them an edge that they may not have otherwise. But anyways, all right. So you throwing a big jig, throwing an old monster. Was there any other gear or equipment that played a major key in your win?
You daggone right. There was one very, very key element. and that was my RS nets, my landing net. RS Nets is a net company made. They're custom built to order in Ohio. They have a lifetime warranty, and they have a latex coating on them so your hooks don't get tangled up. They're fully customizable. I've got one over there, but that net saved this whole thing for me. On day 2, I hooked up on that 20-incher, which was the biggest fish for me of the day. And I'm fighting it to the boat. I've got it, I thought I had him stuck pretty good. And I'm lifting the rod up and I'm extending my net out to scoop him up. And the jig comes flying out. And I throw the net under the water and I scoop him up. I catch him with my net. And without the net, I don't win. There's no way around it. Doesn't happen. So, yeah, the net made all the difference.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen their nets, like the actual the actual net material that they have, and they're all like customizable colors and everything. Yep. I did see yours when I was scrolling through. I think what color was yours again? I think it was like
blue.
Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Anything else you want to show us in there? Let me see what's in that H crate you got back there.
That's it. I also got some bait sacks. Those are pretty important for me too. When I'm throwing those spoons and I don't need those treble hooks getting tangled up, Cal Coast Fishing makes these bait sacks, and they are money. They're awesome. They come in 3 different sizes to keep your trebled hooks from digging into stuff that they don't need to be digging into. So those things are legit.
Is that the black one? So your co.
Oh yeah, that's right. I can't. You throw your bait in there and it's blacked out, so they can't see what I'm throwing. They thought of everything. Those Cal Coast boys are sharp.
Yeah, I've been trying to get them trying to talk to the powers that be at Fisher's Warehouse to get them to bring Cal Coast in.
They make some good products, man. I mean, it's all all of Cal Coast products are they're simple fixes to common anglers' problems. I mean, if there's something that's a common issue amongst all anglers, they try to come up with solutions and products to solve those little aggravating problems, like treble hooked baits that get hooked in everything, and little canvas bait wraps, just don't cut it. That high quality material keeps those hooks from digging into stuff. So they just come up with little products like that all the time. Like they've got the coal balls and they've got the rod mule. That's a new product they've come out with. So they're making some pretty useful products.
Yeah, the clipping coal is a pretty cool product, and then I definitely dig that. I think that's cool for those tournament anglers out there, bass boats especially. And then what was the other one?
The rod mule.
Yeah, the rod mule. That thing's gonna be pretty clutch. Here. Sorry, I say clutch. I got my friends bust my chops every time I say that.
Well, it is though. I mean, it gives you a way to easily carry. I think up to 10 rods or something like that. I mean, it's all in a neat little strap. So yeah, that thing's going to be pretty neat. I've actually got one. I haven't used it yet. I just got it this weekend, but I'll plan on using that thing for sure. Yeah,
the really cool thing too is because usually when I transport my kayak, I leave all my rods in the horizontal rod holder. And the thing is, it's kind of awkward when my buddies want to travel too, so I got to put their kayak in there, and we got to put it in a sideways at an angle because my rods are in there, and I don't want to break my rods. So for me to have something like that, allows me to take my rods out, and then we can put the kayak in there in a way that's maybe a little bit better. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely an organizational tool, without a doubt.
Right on. Any viewer questions, you guys? Come on now, chime in. We've got a lot of comments. I haven't really seen a whole lot of questions. Pretty much everybody's complimenting the amount of info you've been sharing here, Jay.
No problem. I'm happy to do that.
So we've got Dustin Luttrell says, "Let's do this." Shea Locks, hope I said that right. Says, glad I saw this. Didn't know it existed. Well, thanks for tuning in, Shay. Chris Huddleston, way to go, Jay. Carla Briscoe, congrats to Jay.
Yeah, thank you.
And then Susan Penny says, congrats, Jay. Mother Low Kayak Angler let everybody know he logged on. Thanks for chiming in, Steve. Kurt Smith's Hobie Love. Oh, and when we were talking about the Hobie. Brandon Barton, solid dude, well deserved. Mother Low Kayak Angler says, I have a Hobie Outback with a 180 drive and love it. Yeah, actually that's kind of thing you're mentioning. What was the I-11, right?
Yeah,
the I-11.
Yes, that thing is awesome.
Yeah, see out here, the second rig that most guys want to get as far as Hobies goes is usually either they're in an Outback and they want to get an upgrade to a PA, or they're in a PA and they want to get an Outback as well. That's
and that makes sense. I mean, those are the two most popular boats that they've got. The reason I think the I-11 is such a awesome boat is because you can deflate it, and it's got a travel case. If you're going on vacation with the family or something, and you don't have room to take your kayak, you can pack an inflatable kayak and go to the beach and take a kayak with you. If you're flying to Alaska or some awesome destination, you can take your kayak with you on the plane. So that is, to me, is what I think is really cool about that particular boat.
See what else we got here. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. So we've got AJ McWhorter says bluegrasskayakanglers.com. Tyson Peterson says I own a I-11S. It's awesome. Miguel Gonzalez says I love you, Wes. Well, guess what, Miguel? Love you too. Long time no see. Kyler Storm Branham says, I agree with Wes. Ledges sometimes seem intimidating, and I fished Kentucky Lake for years. Kurt Smith's wise words right here. Granted, I did go all the way back to the very beginning of comments and everything. Dustin Luttrell says, getting hot here too. Mother Low Kayak Angler says, very knowledgeable angler, great interview. Tyson Peterson, BC Lures, Teddy makes the best jigs around.
That's it. That's the jig I was using. BC Lures, Teddy Grigsby. He's the man.
Noah Stevens, agree, great stuff. Noah Stevens, is the water clear? What type? Oh, that's actually one of the questions I wrote down. Is the water clear? It's talking about Kentucky Lake.
Yeah, pretty much, man. It's pretty clear. When you get around those mussel beds, they're, like I said, they're filter feeders, and so they're going to filter out a lot of the stuff out of the water. But yeah, man, Kentucky Lake was pretty clear. I mean, I had quite a maybe 2 feet or so visibility, maybe a little more. It wasn't stained at all. So, at least where I was.
That's really funny. I love hearing when you guys further east of us in California, and you guys say 2 feet of visibility is clear, and I'm like, dude, 12 feet of visibility is clear. Anything less than that is dirty.
Yeah, no, I know. We've got a couple lakes like Laurel River Lake. You can see the bottom in 25 feet of water. So clear is definitely a relative term.
Clear for the body of water you are currently residing on.
Right, yeah. Kentucky Lake, it just had that real pretty green color to it,
Noah Stevens, second part of the question, he says, what type and size of line we're using? That's actually kind of what I was going to ask, because you were saying you're fishing around the mussels, so, and on the ledges, right. So I imagine that definitely determines what kind of line you're using.
Yeah, I beefed it up a little bit because I knew I'd be fishing. Those mussels are really sharp and they'll fray your line up pretty bad. I was fishing with Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon, and both the worm and the jig I was throwing 20-pound test.
Right on. So that fluorocarbon holds.
Usually I throw 16-pound test, but for Kentucky Lake, I kind of wanted to beef things up a little bit because I just, I anticipated catching 4 and 5 pounders and fishing rough terrain, so I re-spooled up with 20-pound test on both both my worm and my jig rod. So, I beefed it up a little bit for this one.
Right on. Let me see. AJ McWater says, jigs don't work. Yeah. I guess we should keep it under wraps, huh?
Yeah, right.
Aaron Music says RS Nets makes great stuff. Yeah. AJ McWater, he says your net. I'm guessing he's referring to your net. He says UK Blue.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. UK Blue, baby.
Yeah, you guys and your college sports.
That's all we got, man. We got bourbon, we got horse racing, we got UK basketball, and we got kayak fishing. That's what we got.
Tyson Peterson says, Noah, it's fairly clear you're fishing deep, so around 14 pound is good this time of year if you fish the ledge. So Tyson says he says you can get it with 14. Yeah.
I mean you can. It's everybody's got their own preference, but traditionally, you really want to use the lightest line you can get away with. You will get more bites with 14-pound test. There's no doubt about it. Those fish can pick up on that kind of stuff. So the lighter line will probably get you more bites, but as far as durability goes, that 20-pound test will hold up a little bit better. So it's really just personal preference.
Right. Yeah. One little thing my thoughts have been going. Bass boat guys on the California Delta, a lot of them they won't fish anything much lighter than like 20 pound for a lot of things, and sometimes they'll go to 25. In a kayak, one of the things that I logically, at least the way I'm justifying, I'm fishing like 15, where a lot of those bass boat guys are fishing like 20 and 25, and largely
you'll get more bites for sure.
One that's largely why. The second reason why is when you're in a bass boat and you're basically got that fish pinned and you're pulling on it, your boat is so big and it's basically an immovable object. You're not going to move. You're going to move that fish to the boat. Whereas when you're in a kayak, you can you're moving yourself to the fish a lot of times. So that 15, right. So your boat basically is almost acting as a little bit of a shock absorption to that.
Sure,
so,
it's almost like a drag. It's like a second drag.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you may not actually need to be using that heavier line in a lot of cases because your kayak is actually, you're how many times have you hooked into like a 5-6 pounder and you had it turn you all the way around? I mean, like, because
Hey, on Kentucky Lake on Thursday in practice, I sunk my jig into like a 30-pound flathead, fought that damn thing for 20 minutes, and it pulled me all over the place. I had a blast. It was so much fun. And these two old guys in the John boat watching me, I don't think they knew what to think. They were blown away. It was crazy.
Yeah, so if you got that mindset, beef up your line. Remember, you are in a kayak. Your kayak, when you hook into a big fish, your kayak's moving. So you don't necessarily have to be beefing your line up so much. You can probably get away with some lighter line than you possibly would think. Just a little information there. Take it for what you will. Let's see. Noah thanks Tyson. Corey Dreyer. Jay, did you catch fish down south or north?
Both. That big smallmouth I caught came, I'm not going to tell you where, but it was about an hour and 15 minutes south of the dam, I'll tell you that. I fished down south and I fished up north. And on practice day, I fished way down south. And I caught fish all up and down Kentucky Lake. So they're chewing all up and down that river.
Right on. Corey Dreyer, he then follows up with proud of you, buddy.
Thanks, Corey. I appreciate it, man.
Abel Patino, one of our guys out here in California, he says, what brand rod and reels do you fish?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much exclusive on G. Loomis as far as rods go. And Shimano as well. That's pretty much my go-to. I truly believe that they make the best rod in fishing. They are a little pricey, but they're light, they're sensitive, and I love the lifetime warranty that I get with my G. Loomis rods. So, I got a little mix match of stuff. I've got some NRXs, some GLXs, I got some of the crankbait series rods, the bronzeback rods, but I really love the G Loomis rods and pair them up with Shimano. It's good stuff.
Guillermo Gonzalez chimes in. He says, "You're the man, Jay. What's the color on Kentucky Lake for jigs?" And congratulations, you, Mr. Guillermo, on the Angler Year title for cats. But,
no doubt.
Go ahead,
Guillermo. Well, congratulations to Guillermo. He's a good friend of mine. We've been competing against each other now for the last several years, and we've gotten to know each other pretty well. He kills it down there in Texas. I'd hate to have to fish against him on a regular basis. He's tough. But the colors on Kentucky Lake for a jig, natural green pumpkins, oranges. Early in the year, I like to throw a black and blue, but once that water gets up, close to 60, then I'll switch back over to a green pumpkin or a little, maybe a little bluegill color, but definitely something natural.
Right on. AJ McWhorter says, he's basically answering the question as well. He says, Tennessee craw and any color trailer you want as long as it's green pumpkin.
That's it.
James Maverick Hartsock says, "Congrats, Jay. You know the lakes around eastern Kentucky. What baits do you suggest for around here at this time of year?"
Yeah. So in eastern Kentucky, it'd probably be real hard to beat a shaky head trick worm and a 5-inch Cinco Texas rigged weightless. That would probably be my two go-to baits. The bite in eastern Kentucky in the summertime can be really, really tough. And if you get out on the Russell Fork or some of those smallmouth streams, I'd probably just throw a little light jig, a little small jig, and a little Cinco, maybe a 4-inch Cinco, and I think you're going to get plenty of bites on those kind of baits like that.
Green pumpkin Cinco?
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of hard to beat.
Yep. It works all around the country.
Thank you.
Let's see. Aaron Music says, he says, Jay, you got another H crate back there?
Yeah, Aaron's been in an H crate. We're gonna have to see if we can't get Aaron an H crate. He needs one bad.
Yeah.
Aaron had an unfortunate. I hate to throw him under the bus here, but he had a little bit of an unfortunate incident on Kentucky Lake at the national championship. Poor guy rolled his kayak, lost all of his stuff. So he lost his H crate. So we need to see if we can't get this guy an H crate. We'll see what we can do about that, Aaron.
I think he's referring to the one that is over your right shoulder, in addition to the one you got in the back of your PA-14 right now. You see that one? You see that? There's an H crate right there. Is that an H crate right there? You got one in the back of your PA, right?
Yeah.
And then you got that one on the shelf, the third from the second or third row from the top.
Yeah, that might be an H crate. I'm not really 100% sure.
He just don't want to admit it.
Yeah, it
but you gotta put your hands up a little bit and cover it. Granted, you can't see me because there you go, almost close enough. All right, Corey Dreyer says, we already answered that question, Mr. Corey Dreyer. He says, all right, Tony Hobbs. He says he uses a Zebco 33s on carrot stick rods. Yeah. Yeah, we've got a few buddies out here that use carrot sticks, and we kind of give them some crap for it. But
yeah, I've kind of enjoyed that with the. I know Corey Dreyer really likes the ducket rods, so I don't know. He's a big fan of the ducket stuff.
Noah Stevens says, "Love my NRX jig rod."
That's it. That's the ticket right there. It doesn't get any better. Yeah. I'm telling you, some of the bites that I got with that rod, the way they would hit it, it's amazing that I was able to feel it. Some of the bites I got were so light. It really is amazing that I was able to feel it all the way through. And that's really a combination of that Picasso tungsten and then that NRX rod, how sensitive it is. With those two paired up, man, you could feel that fish fart on it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. NRX rod, it's a good fluorocarbon, and tungsten. You pretty much can feel the fish fart on it. That's That's the joke of the shop, anyways.
It's
but
true.
don't get me wrong, I love me my Enigmas, but yeah. G Loomis makes some quality rods. They've been doing it for a long time. You'd be a fool to say otherwise. All right. Tony Hobbs says Cinco Master Race. Was that the Green Pumpkin? Is that what you're saying? I don't know.
Yeah, Green Pumpkin.
Green Pumpkin's the master race of all Cincos.
I think it probably is. Yeah.
That's a little suggestive there.
Yeah. Tony likes to throw Alabama
that's
reps on him. So,
that's borderline racist, man. I don't know if I should have read that. All right. Cole Sunley says, "Congrats, Jay."
Thanks. Appreciate it, buddy.
Corey Dreyer, he says, 13 fishing, exclamation point, thumbs down to ducats, have had terrible luck.
Yes.
Were you playing a joke on him? I just wasn't privy to it, or what?
Oh, yeah, sure, for sure. Yeah, Corey's associated with 13 fishing. Yeah, so I was just messing with him on the ducket stuff.
Well played, Jay.
Some guy snapping a ducket, and it was hilarious.
Well played, Jay. Well played. Mother Low Kayak Angler says, "Okay, now that's funny." All right, man. We've pretty much caught up on all the questions. Keep on asking them. I'm gonna tune back to them here. I got a few last questions for Jay before we wrap it all up. So questions. Obviously, you qualified for the Hobie Worlds 2018. My question is, do you plan on fishing it?
You daggone right. Absolutely. I don't know. There's no way I'm not going. I'll just say that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. Hope you got your passport, buddy.
Yeah, actually I don't. So I need to get on that this week. I got to go to the post office and start filling out some paperwork.
Yeah. Get your passport, man, and make a trip down to El Salto, down to Mexico too, while you're at it.
You know what? My dad's been talking about that for 10 years, so we may do that.
There's some other big bass lakes down there too. I can't remember who it was, but they've got some pretty good excursions. You know what they really need to do?
Guerrero or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but we need to talk to Robert Fields and the guys over at Fish Village and see if we can get a hookup on a kayak setup down in one of those big lakes down there. That'd be badass.
You talk about a show. That would be a show.
Dude, I'm game. Hey, Robert, if you're watching, man, let's coordinate. Let's get a kayak show down in like El Salto or something. Go fish with those tilapia eaters.
Absolutely.
Dude, that'd be so badass to go down there and chuck some big old tilapia swim baits for those monster bass.
Yes, sir.
I'm down. Man, dude. So, anyways, next question: are you fishing the KBF National Championship?
I will be there. Yep.
Right on. Have you already qualified?
Yeah, I've qualified. Yep.
I imagine because you are the reigning or defending Angler of the Year, I imagine you probably already automatically get an automatic seed, don't you?
I don't know. I don't know. I think Chad made me qualify, but I managed to qualify the very first. They had a little event before the national championship, the Costa tournament.
Oh yeah, right.
And I actually won that, so I punched my ticket right off the bat.
Sweet, man.
Yeah, so I'll be fishing for $100,000 in that next March. Sweet. Absolutely.
Sweet. Yeah. We may have to hook up if I make it qualify. I'm gonna follow you around.
Hey, can you still see me, Wes?
Yeah, I can still see you, man. I mean, your picture's a little blurry, but I can still see you. Can you hear me still?
Yeah. I was just making sure. Good deal.
Yeah, you're still good.
Okay.
All right. So, what other events do you plan on fishing this year? Do you have scheduled, or at least in the upcoming, calendar?
So, I guess I've still got a few more KBF trail events that I'm going to fish. We have one on Cedar Creek Lake in August. We also have one here in late November on Lake Cumberland. So got those coming up. I'm definitely going to be at the KBF Open on Toledo Bend. I will definitely be there. And the Bluegrass Kayak Anglers, our last tournament of the year is going to be the Bluegrass Kayak Classic. It's going to be on Cave Run Lake, October 14th and 15th. First place is guaranteed $2,500. And there's also, I can't remember how much it is, but we have a bounty for the highest out-of-state finisher. So if you're the highest finisher from out of state, you'll get a little bonus money for doing that. But that's going to be a really cool event. The city of Moorhead, Kentucky, really goes all out for that, and we're trying to make that into a really nice event and get some good participation. So that'll be on our website at bluegrasskayakanglers.com. So that's one I'm definitely looking forward to. But the big ones. The big ones are kind of wrapping up. I mean, we've already had the national championship and one of the opens, and of course the Hobie Bass Open. So we're kind of getting mid-season, and there's really not a whole lot left. But there's a few more tournaments left. I plan on being at Gunnersville and St. Clair without a doubt. So I've still got a little bit more to go.
Right on. We've got KBF Trail event in Lake Havasu in November, which is after your season, so maybe you can be interested in coming out to that. And then maybe that's like a precursor to the KBF Open that'll be in Havasu, I believe, in the spring as well.
Right. Yeah. No, I've always wanted to come out there. You just never know. You never know. I like to travel.
If it's in the books, you take it like an extra week and a half, make it 2 weeks off, and then come on up and fish the California Delta, swing by and go fish. And then go fish like Clear Lake or something.
Bullard's Bar or something maybe.
Yeah, or Bullard's Bar. Only thing is, now I think about it, I think Lake Havasu has the zebra mussels.
Okay.
That might make things difficult because you technically have to have your kayak clean, dry, or whatever for 30 days. So. Yeah, so you don't want to transport those buggers because they are quite the nuisance.
Once you get them, that's for sure.
Yeah. You don't want them in Kentucky, dude. Definitely not. All right, so we've got that. Got any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Oh yeah, man. My sponsors have been really good for me. They've really helped me get everything to where I'm at, and I'm going to try to name them all and not miss them. I know I've kind of hit some of them, but. Number one, Backwater Outfitters. They're our local Hobie dealer here in Lexington, Kentucky. They're a premier tackle shop. They've got all the high-end tackle, all the good stuff that you're wanting. It's not your Walmart selection. And then they're a great Hobie dealer here in Central Kentucky. And Cal Coast Fishing, they've been really good to me too. They've got all those neat little products like the bait sack and the rod mule and the clip and cull, the rod, all that stuff. So Cal Coast Fishing's been really good for me too. Picasso Lures, I get all my tungsten, all my Alabama rigs, my shaky heads, all that stuff comes from Picasso. And they got some awesome spinner baits and buzz baits too. I haven't done their spinner baits enough. That's something I want to kind of dive into a little bit more with them. But their buzz baits and their Alabama rigs are off the charts. Their stuff is so well made. When you get it, you see the components that they use. I'm telling you, Picasso makes some really, really good baits. I'm really pleased with their stuff. Excite Baits, one of my favorite things Excite Baits makes is the Maximus worm. And that's a 10.5-inch worm. It actually floats. That's what makes it so different from everything else. And it's just an awesome worm. And they've got trailers. They've got swim baits. They've got a little the Slim X worm. It's almost like a trick worm, but it floats. So they make some really, really good soft plastics and crankbaits and some underspins too. But Torpedo Motors, they've been good to me too. Those Torpedoes are pretty neat. Not all tournaments allow them, but you can definitely cover some water with that thing. Let's see. SC Wake up in Cincinnati, they're C-Deck applicators. I've got C-Deck on my boat here, and I love that stuff, man. It's soft, it's quiet. Makes your boat look good. But that sea deck is really good stuff. It's durable, it holds up. But the guys at SC Wake up in Cincinnati, if you're looking for somebody to get you some sea deck, they custom cut it to whatever boat you've got. They've got all kinds of different patterns and colors. All that stuff's really great. But just trying to think if I've left anybody off. I know I have. Of course, Des Davis and Supernova Fishing Lights. Let me tell you something. If you're going to be out on the water fishing these tournaments early in the morning, if you're going to be out late at night fishing tournaments, you got to be safe out there and you got to be visible. And those Supernova lights light up my boat like you would not believe. You can see my boat when it's dark out from 2 miles away. So the Supernova Fishing Lights is something that you really need to look into if you fish at all in low light conditions. And of course I already mentioned my RS nets, which pretty much saved the day for me out of Kentucky Lake. So thanks to all those guys. They all have good products, and I really appreciate their support of me. The messages and the support's been overwhelming, and I really appreciate all of them. Do me a favor, check these guys out. Go look at their products. I don't push them just to be pushing them. I push them because they really do make good stuff that I believe in using and that I use. And I really believe that all of that stuff helps me win tournaments, helps me put fish in the boat in some fashion. So go check all those guys' stuff out and see for yourself. Just give that stuff a look. And if you could, I literally just got done building this thing and getting it rolled out. I actually just rolled out my own website. It's jwallenfishing.com. Hop on there, check it out. I'm going to be adding content. Got a YouTube channel on there. I'm working on a video right now from the Hobie Bass Open. I'll have that up in the next couple of days. So, I just really appreciative of all you guys. My phone has melted, so it's been nuts, and I really, really appreciate each and every one of you reaching out to me, and it's our whole kayak fishing community is so special and so unique, and I'm just really grateful and thankful for all of you guys. So thank you.
Oh man, we definitely appreciate getting to watch you be successful, and all the tips you've been giving us on here. At least I do, and I imagine the guys who are watching here as well feel the same way. One last question.
Sure.
Granted, you kind of already said part of it, anyways. Where can people follow you? Where can they keep up with Mr. Jay Wallen and everything going on with Jay Wallen and his tournament career?
Yeah, so, like I said, I just got the website up, jwallenfishing.com. I'm on Instagram, jwallenfishing. That's just the letter J on that. I've got a YouTube channel. If you just search Jay Wallen, you should be able to find it. I've just started dabbling in some GoPro and some video stuff, so, I'm getting better. Every time I make videos and stuff, I get a little bit better, so hopefully you guys can get on there and subscribe, and if there's something you want me to make a video on, something that you want to know how I do this or that, or you want me to make a video doing something, showing you something, let me know. I enjoy that kind of stuff. I'll get the GoPros out and put a video together, and so just hit me up with topics. I've got a Facebook page, Jay Wallen Fishing, on Facebook, and I've also been dabbling a little bit on Tumblr with a blog. I'm sure I'll get around to writing up a whole write-up on this whole experience. I've just got to give it a little bit of time and let everything sink in first. These last 48 hours have just it's been crazy. I've wanted this thing really bad, and now that I finally achieved it, it's just, it's kind of surreal trying to accept the fact that you actually pulled it off. So it's just, this whole thing's been crazy, and like I said, I appreciate all you guys.
All right. Now I'm thinking about it. How far do you live from Kentucky Lake? Did you actually get to stay at home?
No, I'm a little over. I'm about 3 hours and 20 minutes from the dam.
Okay.
So I'm close enough that I could make a little quick trip if I wanted to, but it's still far enough away that it's a trip away from home.
Okay. Cool. That's about how far it is for myself and a lot of our other guys here in Central California to go to Clear Lake. So I can relate, most definitely.
But hey, 3 hours to go fish Kentucky Lake that's not too bad. I mean, that's still pretty much my backyard.
Pretty damn close, anyways, right?
Yeah. Compared to a lot of people, I mean, you got Tom Michael up there in New Jersey. He doesn't have a short drive to Kentucky Lake, and Tim Percy up in Canada, and Rich Offner and those guys. It's not a short little drive for them. Marty Mood coming up from Florida. So, I'm pretty fortunate to have that just 3 hours away.
Absolutely. I definitely a little envious, but you're probably a little envious of me as well because I do have Clear Lake about the same distance from you.
I would like to experience that one time.
All right, so Tony Hobbs, we're gonna get to these last few viewer questions, and we'll call it a night. Tony Hobbs says, "What is the magic bait on Cedar Lake this time?" You guys have a tournament out there next week. I don't know if you want to take.
Yeah. It's really hard to say, Tony. Bill Dance makes a really great bait. It's like a crankbait with a little plastic on the back of it. I think it's the dancing eel. You can get out there in that deep water. What I like to do is get out in front of the dam in about 60 feet and just crank that thing real fast. You just throw that dancing eel out there, reel it as fast as you can in about 60 foot of water. Now, you're probably not going to get a bunch of bites on that, but they're going to be good ones. So just hang out in that deep water and throw that dancing eel, and you'll get bit, buddy. I'm sure of it.
I'm not sure if you're full of shit or what, but I'll be like, okay. Good,
I've done my job then. If you're not sure, then I've done my job.
Tyson Peterson says, Tony, magic bait is the banjo minnow. Dude, the banjo minnow, it really does catch fish. I mean, it isn't.
That's the thing about the banjo minnow. It really does catch fish. It's crazy.
It is. I mean, it's like it's a running joke, but it really can catch fish. Noah Stevens.
Tony, in all seriousness, Tony, a Meps is hard to beat. I'd throw the Meps if it were me.
Really, that's like a trout and salmon lure out here, man.
Yeah, no, those big bass in Cedar Creek love a Meps. Yeah.
Huh. I certainly don't know if you're full of shit or not, dude.
I'm completely full of it. Maybe.
All right. Noah Stevens says, been to El Salto twice. Worth every cent. Love the Anglers Inn. That's the one I was thinking of, El Salto.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. Call up Robert. Let's make it happen.
We'll both have to message him, dude, because I think that would be pretty badass.
Yeah, I'll get my passport and we'll go.
Yeah, dude, we get some like the top guys, I don't want to name any names because I don't feel like I left anybody out. Get some true ballers out there, and that'd just be one epic episode. Get yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. Corey Dreyer says, you guys coming to Randleman Lake Trail?
I saw that on the schedule. I'm going to give that some serious consideration. I've never been there. I've always heard of it. I'm definitely going to look into it. No promises, but I'm going to look into it and see if I can't swing that because I would like to hit that up sometime. Definitely.
All right. Aaron Music again. Guys close to Kentucky need to come fish bluegrass kayak anglers events. I agree. Because if I was close enough to, because I'd probably be out there getting my butt whooped by Jay and all the other guys out there as well.
Hey, so let me tell you something about me and the bluegrass kayak anglers. So I fished. This is our 5th season. I fished every single tournament with the exception of one. And let me just say this. I have never won a bluegrass kayak anglers tournament. Not once. Ever.
Yeah. That says a lot, though. But
I've got a handful of second places, thirds. It's crazy. I cannot win my local state club. I can't do it. And let me tell you something. We got some sticks in that club, too. It's no joke. You got Drew Russell in there every day beating people's brains in. Just go ahead and tell you that.
That guy's a stick too. I've had him on Kayak Bass Live as well when he won one of the Trails first thing this earlier in the year.
You got AJ McWhorter, you got Matt Schaefer, TJ Strong. I'm telling you, bluegrass kayak anglers, we got some sticks in this club. Tyson Peterson, Hobie Bass Open champion. So we got some sticks in that club now. If you want to compete, come on down. Yep.
And that's one of the best ways to learn and get better, man, is get your butt ripped by a couple of those guys. It'll drive you let's see. Tyson Peterson says they have cleaning station for the zebra mussels. So, hey, man, come out here. We'll dip that kayak in that cleaning station and before you head off somewhere else.
We'll scrub her down. No problem.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be out there. I'm pretty sure I'll be there for the Open. The one in the fall is kind of maybe a little questionable, but the Open is definitely going to happen next year for sure. Let's see. AJ McWhorter says, Corey, I'll be in the area, though. Okay. So he's always responding to the Randleman Lake Trail. JT Hall, good job, Jay. Proud of you, man. You're living the dream. Keep holding them, bro. Keep hooking them, bro.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Casey Mudd, jwallenfishing.com. Very much so. I should be hitting the thumbs up on all these. Motherlow Kayak Angler, we'll check out. Great information and delivered with humility. Great job.
Thank
you.
Yeah,
he said he's going to go hit up your sponsors. That's what I think that's what he's referring to. And Adam Shepard, the best of the best. That's what he's talking about the bluegrass kayak anglers. Let's see.
Adam's too. He's good.
Oh, I had this written down here. Out of curiosity, we have Matthew Brandon here. He's one of our best stakes out here in California, and he has the Supernova lights as well. And he was saying that they are super, super, super bright. They're so bright you don't want to fish with somebody next to you because you'll literally blind them. So my question is, he puts a dimmer switch on it. Do you have a dimmer switch on yours as well?
I don't. And here's what I did to combat that. They are super bright, and the power draw is minimal. I mean, those things will run on very little power for days. But what I did, and what's really important with the Supernova fishing lights, is that you place the light below your field of view on the kayak. So, get it below. Don't have it to where it's shining up in your eyes. Make sure that you put those strips of lights low enough on your kayak so that it's not blinding you at nighttime. Because what you want is that light going out into the water, out towards the bank. You don't want it shining back up in your face. So get those strips a little bit lower on the front of your kayak so that they're not eye level. You're not catching that glare coming up off of them.
Right.
It's important. Or you can use a dimmer switch. There's a couple ways you can go with that.
Yeah, and tell your partners to wear sunglasses when you go night fishing.
Hey, I wear my sunglasses at night.
So do I. That was one of my nicknames playing poker with sunglasses at night because I always wear glasses on the table. But anyways, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you. All right. So with that, I want to say thank you, Jay, for coming on. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Like I said, normally we do the giveaway here at the end, the spin the wheel, and we pick the winner from the guys who shared last week. But like I said, I forgot to do that, so we'll do double next week. So tune in next week for the guys who shared last week, and then the guys who shared this week. If you are watching after the fact, you can still share the video and be entered to win. You don't have to watch it live and share it live. You can share it after the fact and still be entered to win the Trapper hooks. So, again, thank you for tuning in. And again, thank you, Jay, for coming on tonight, and congratulations. Stick around, Jay. We'll go and chat for a little bit afterwards.
Everybody, thank you. It's my pleasure. I appreciate all of you all. Thank you. Thank you again.
Yeah, man. You gave a lot of information. I'm sure everybody appreciated it very much. So that. It's like I'm lagging here a little bit. All right. There we go. So, love, peace, and chicken grease.